What happens when a modern direct drive steering wheel meets BeamNG's force feedback system from 10 years ago? Well, today I'm going to sacrifice myself to find out. And I must admit, I'm kinda scared, especially after seeing all of the improvements the BeamNG devs have made over the past decade. These include very important updates, like normalized force feedback strength between cars, improved force feedback feel on front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive vehicles, and an option useful for direct drive wheels, which is exactly what I'm using today. And those were just a few of the many improvements to force feedback. It gets even worse when you consider that the driving dynamics are completely different now. All of this sounds absolutely terrifying. But is it really that bad? To find out, I'm gonna be testing the force feedback on 5 different scenarios, which will become increasingly dangerous for my wrists. I'll be starting easy with regular street driving, and then gradually stepping it up to track driving, drifting, rallying, and finally, rock crawling. But before that, let's begin with grid map. Also, I am about to remove the goggles, so if you still haven't seen the face reveal, go watch it right now. Alright, so let us begin. This feels so weird. So right now we're using the D series because I think it's the closest to its equivalent in BeamNG 0.4. But right now, something that is universally different is... Look at this. This is at maximum force, 8 Newton meters, but it's easy because we have something very cool that is reduced strength while parked, which is not in BeamNG 0.4. I'm gonna put this thing into gear. And force feedback. Okay, I'm just kidding. There are a couple things I'm looking for right now, and it's not like I'm gonna be playing BeamNG 0.35 now and in 1 hour when I'm finished, I'm gonna then download BeamNG 0.4 and do it then. No. I am lucky enough to have a second computer which is recording right now and running BeamNG 0.4 so I can do back-to-back switching, and I have to thank you guys who watch my videos, and especially channel members who are stupid enough to give me money every month. Anyways, I'm talking too much. So first of all, the steering is pretty light towards the center, but I mean, this is a pickup. What do you expect? But as you turn more, you can feel it load up pretty nicely. Now, something very important you need to feel through the wheel is how much the tires are gripping. So as I start to turn more and the car starts to understeer, it's not understeering, we're oversteering. But yeah, as we reach the grip limit, you can feel it kind of lose feedback. It's still heavy, it still wants to center, but it loses detail. Like right now, it's pretty cool, it's pretty realistic. Another thing I want to look out for as I'm gaining speed is, will the car self-correct? Is the force feedback fast enough to snap back to center and realign the car, save it? So I'm gonna yank it at 150, left the throttle, the car saved itself. I'm now gonna do the same thing but without letting go of the throttle. Still manages to save itself. And I'm gonna keep gaining speed to test out the final thing, which is side acceleration. Now this is something BeamNG added a while ago, and basically it simulates the lateral G-forces you would feel in a car. Now, in real cars, you don't feel it through the wheel, but it kind of works here. It kind of gives you a bit more stuff to work with. And while you don't really feel it, especially because it's quite low, it's just something on top that subconsciously helps. Did you see that glitching? What the hell? But now, it's time to do the first test in BeamNG 0.4. It feels so weird to be back in this. The first thing I can notice is the fact that the wheel is super heavy because there's no reduced strength while parked. And the other thing I'm noticing is
the steering angle doesn't automatically sync between the game and the wheel, as it does in BeamNG 0.35 with my settings.
Immediately, it feels alright, but it feels very linear. There's not much variation in the force. It feels like, you know, one of those rubber band wheels? Yeah, look at the physics. What is this turning radius? I'm scared. I'm actually scared for the track driving and stuff. Then of course we don't have side acceleration because it was added quite a while later. And yeah, there is basically zero feel in the center. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the test to see if it can save itself if we give it a yank. So here we go. Okay. I think it saves itself, not because the force feedback intervenes, because as you can see it's pretty slow, but because the tires grip so much in like an unrealistic way. As for understeer, you really can't feel it change much, especially because we're not understeering, we're gripping like crazy. Now we're understeering, but it's getting heavier. I think we're also past the soft lock. Wait, does it not have a soft lock? But grid map can only tell us so much, which is why now it is time for some street driving. So this car should feel a lot more raw, because it has no power steering, it's a bit older, and here on the street, the road isn't perfect. We'll be able to feel the suspension react to the environment. So I'm gonna start driving like a moron, and I can feel what the car is doing. This car does tend to oversteer a bit, but I can easily feel it and control it. Also, there's no ABS on this car, so I'm gonna try slamming the brakes. The wheel kind of vibrates, which is cool. I think that's the tires getting grip and losing I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a tire expert, but it feels very natural. So now I'm actually gonna try going as fast as possible.
12 seconds later.
Ooh, this is not a crash. Ignoring the fact that I'm a complete moron, this feels fine. Yes, BeamNG does need a better tire model, because the current one is kind of poop, but considering what we're working with, it's actually really good. As for 0.4 though, I'm kind of scared. Oh boy. So as usual, the steering is super hard because we're parked. Immediately, I can feel the road. I can feel the little imperfections, the little bumps, which is good. This is very good. But the steering does feel kind of dead. It kind of feels like a modern car, not a raw Italian supercar from the 80s. Now maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not driving it hard enough, so... This shifter, I swear... I'm gonna try braking now as I did earlier. Yes, you can feel the wheel vibrate a bit. Though what I really want to test is driving it quickly. Please like this video so I can buy another shifter. Okay, so how does this feel? Not very confidence inspiring. I don't feel the wheel snapping back. It definitely takes more effort on my side to correct the car. You need to use your eyes to see what the car is doing. You do kind of feel some stuff through the wheel, don't get me wrong, but... yeah, overall, I don't feel as confident to push this car as I do in 0.35. So street driving was, I'd say, a mild success, but now it's time for track driving, where we'll see how the force feedback behaves when you're pushing the car to its absolute limits. So I'm using the Sport RS Sunburst, which is also all-wheel drive, and as we saw previously, front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive cars received some updates to force feedback quite a bit later, so I'm curious to see if it actually feels very bad in 0.4. But right now, apart from my horrible driving, this feels pretty good. I feel the wheel loading up when I brake, because the weight transfer shifts towards the front, and I can feel when the car understeers, I can feel when it wants to pivot, and I can also feel a bit of the side acceleration forces. I can feel it vibrate on the grass, and also when I hit the apex, which is nice. So I'm gonna do some timed laps now, just to see the difference between 0.35 and 0.4. I don't think this is something that anyone has actually done. And so after doing a couple laps, I think I managed a time of 1:37 something, and this feels great. The tire model isn't perfect, but I do feel what the car is doing. But now, let's see how 0.4 handles track driving. So apart from the horrendous sounds, which I really don't like, it really feels kind of vague. Shit. Even on the grass it grips. What? Now let's see if we can feel the apex, and it's super muddy. You can feel something, but it's super slight. And in general, but this is something we've seen in the previous tests too, it's much slower to react. So I'm gonna do some flying laps now, where we fly into the wall. And so, as it turns out, the times are basically the same, which is so weird. Now, of course, you can't really compare the two because the cars are different, the track is different, the physics are pretty different. I mean, just look at this. How is this real? You just turn it in and it goes. Why are there no crashing sounds? But what about drifting? So let's see if I can drift this over here. Okay. Now premise, I suck at drifting. Let's see if I can try to pull some 6 skids in 0.35 and let's see if I can actually do it in 0.4. I don't think I will be able to because as you see now, the car corrects itself. Let's see. Come on. Okay, that was decent. Let's see if I can connect these 2 corners in the chicane. Kinda not. I'm gonna try this one again. Little clutch kick. Let's see these 2. Come on! Yes. Keep it! No! Can you believe I made a tutorial on how to drift? And I can't frigging drift? Oh! Shit. Now let's see how I do in 0.4. Oh, that was... Okay, why is drifting here easier? Why is it easier? This can't be right. It's much easier. It's making me look like a pro. If anybody knows why, please tell me in the comments. I'm so confused right now. I'm getting less feedback too. I think maybe because the tires have more grip. So gentlemen, I guess if you want to appear like you know what you're doing, use BeamNG 0.4. I don't think it means it's more realistic and I don't think it has much to do with the force feedback. Though it's working. I'm actually enjoying this. But let's not get too happy, because this could have very well been the calm before the storm. Yup, it's time for rallying. And already here I can really feel the shitty terrain. Also, something 0.4 won't let me do is use this as the handbrake. So I'm gonna have to use a button like the good old days. But yeah, you can really feel all the bumps, and the way this reacts alongside the sound really gives you the impression that you've just hit something, you know? Though I do think the wheel should vibrate a lot more, because as of now it's quite smooth. I mean, I can literally hold it with one hand. So yeah, maybe in that regard, there is still quite a bit of room for improvement. Is it the best in the industry? No, but still, I think it's pretty up there. But what about 0.4? I'm kinda scared for my wrists now, especially because if the rallying won't do it, the rock crawling definitely will. So I'm using the Turbo Rally config. Okay. Interesting. I think I'm feeling more small vibrations and less big pronounced ones. Yeah, I can't feel the big bumps for some reason, but it's really vibrating a lot. This is what we need, BeamNG. We need this back. But if I lift my foot from the gas, the vibrations kind of stop. I think maybe it's because the engine vibrations are exaggerated here in 0.4. I don't know, this is weird. So I'd say 0.35 easily wins this, but vibrations, please. And now, gentlemen, it is time for the final test. Rock crawling. So no, you're not dreaming. This is grid map V1 in BeamNG 0.35, and if you two guys want to use it, it is available in the repository. And I've chosen this map because of that. So I'm gonna enable 4-wheel drive and lock the diffs. And this is the off-road version of the Gavril D series, which is also available. Why is the steering so hard? It's also available, not exactly like this obviously, but it is pretty close in 0.4. So we're approaching the rocks. I am scared. Okay, you can definitely feel them. Oh, the wheel is snapping left and right, quite aggressively actually. And yeah, I'm struggling to hold it still. Keep in mind this wheel is just 8 Newton meters. So imagine the damage this could do with something stronger, like 32. Like this video if you'd want to see something like that. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Let's try this. I'm kind of scared. Shit, I felt that. But what about in 0.4? So here there's no 4-wheel drive switch, there's no high or low range, no diff locking, none of that. I'm honestly scared. I don't know if it's gonna be worse or better. We're approaching the rocks again. Okay, I'm getting thrashed. And I'm going slowly. This is horrid. The shifter vibrating. But I am feeling less big oscillations. We're stuck again. Oh, this is bad. Look at the wheel vibrate. Okay, so what I've noticed is that there's less big jolts like this. What about here? It's not too bad. And so, gentlemen, in conclusion, it's not too bad.